The biggest mistake that I find founders make when they hit a plateau and point of diminishing returns around seven figures, usually it happens about $2 to $3 million in, is they typically fixate and obsess about squeezing and optimizing a little bit more on the things that actually got them there. And the problem with that is you're squeezing and optimizing the things that got you to that point of diminishing returns, which typically means your answer to unlocking the next level of scale is not in the thing that got you there. It's such a cliche thing to say, but what got you here is not going to get you to the next eight figures. What I find, and this is just backed on $289 million in growth over the course of 3 years, working with brands from your local mom and pop shop to Shark Tank to celebrity brands. I essentially became the guy people would come to unlock a new level of scale when they've hit that plateau. I'd take over the company, double, triple, quadruple within 6 to 12 months. And I did so by using what I call amplifiers. Amplifiers are things that are essentially levers that amplify what you can do with your marketing, but they're not just your typical marketing tactics and strategies from media buying, landing page design, iterations, full funnel segmentations, audience testing. Like they're not those things. They are the actual meat inside your business. They are your pricing, your margins, your operations, your sales structure, right? Like, what are the pieces that are actually going to unlock the next level of scale? That's typically what you want to look at. A few small tips. Most businesses, if I were to ask you, how did you come up with your pricing? You're probably going to say, well, Victor, I looked at the average of the market. I went a little bit above or a little bit below the average just so I can stay competitive. That's problem number one. And if you're there, you can typically increase your price by as much as 50%. And your cost to acquire a customer based on that price is only going to go up 10, 20, maybe 30% max. And so that's just one quick tactic you can put in place for yourself. The other, this is a big one. This is a fun one also. And it really fascinates me when you see it in this perspective. And that is most businesses try to give the incentive of a discount and a promotion for their first time customer. Whether it's a product or a service, you'll typically see businesses pushing anywhere from 10 to 20% off for your first purchase as a first time customer. The fascinating thing behind that is 10 to 20% off most products and services that people buy on a first time basis is usually going to be $5 to $10 of savings, right? And so you basically cut off $5 to $10 of your top line. The customer sees it as a $5 to $10 savings off of a 30, 40, $50 product or service. And the disadvantage that you have is everybody else is doing the same thing. And if you want to basically amplify that, right? This is amplifier number one, and it's essentially a price to value discrepancy. The rate that people purchase something now versus later is amplified by the discrepancy from the price you ask them to pay versus the value that they actually get. And so your 10 to 20% off is $5 to $10 in your mind and the customer's mind. But what most businesses overlook is your actual cost of that product or that service is typically also $5 to $10. But your price to sell that product or service is typically equal to the thing you want them to buy in the first place. And so I would rather give a product or service for free that costs 50, 60, or $100 on the website, right? But it actually is only an expense of $5 to $10 for you. Because now I can say when you buy this thing, you get 50 or $100 versus 5 or $10 off. And that gap, that discrepancy just amplifies the living daylight out of the amount of scale you can drive, the amount of purchases that come in, the amount of new customers that come in. And it's something that I find with businesses when they're doing 5, 10, 15, 20. It's interesting that usually the bigger the business is, the less they have kind of these incentives in place, the bigger of a plateau they're actually operating in. And the thinner the margins they have, it's an interesting world to live in. But if you're living in that space and you're currently stuck at that plateau, um, look beyond your marketing. That's like biggest advice number one. Don't keep squeezing the thing that got you stuck in the first place.